Dire team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Lone Druid.
Radiant team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Abyssal Underlord.
Radiant team pick.
Meatball!
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Winter Wyvern.
Radiant team ban.
Sounds so interesting, especially now that Abed has finally hit the field. I mean, it's been most of their games up to this point have been with Francis Lee standing in officially, but now Abed gets to come in and try his hand at it, and so far he's 4-0 with the team. With that, of course, he's got one hero in his pocket that is a little bit more famous than others. And while you normally wouldn't first ban a Meepo against any team because you have so many tools to counter it throughout the next 4 or 5 picks, this seems to be warranted. The Meepo pick is really strong, and it's going to be pretty much defining how this game plays out.
Yeah, there's already like so many things that run through my mind now when you look like a team like Team Onyx here, because you already want to try to make the comparison between them and like Wanted, another stacked of American talent. They have some C imports. They've all achieved some good amount of success or had some good like LAN experience. Onyx have been a team just a little bit longer now. And as you mentioned, since Abed has kind of touched down in the States, they've had some, unparalleled success. Now MP going to be able to go up against them. They have faced off previously in Star Ladder just about a week ago, but at that point, Abed was not there, and that's when they were using Flea, like you were talking about. But what do you think? Already leading into this draft, MP, one of the nice things for Onyx, I guess, is over Wanted is they already have the recognition of these signature pickups. So they ban out the first phase Coddle. Another thing you would never see against a lot of the other teams, but Onyx continue to go for it, and they give it to Demon like time and time again. Here it gets the ban. But what do you think about banning Ember over the Respect Meepo ban against Abed?
It goes back to the idea that first banning Meepo is a weak ban. Second ban Meepo, second phase ban, third ban, or fifth ban, if you will, is definitely warranted. But first phase banning Meepo, it almost seems like overkill, because compared to it, like Ember Spirit, like you see that on the field, and you don't necessarily get to pick 3 or 4 heroes to counteract it. With a Meepo, you can easily commit 3 heroes of your draft strictly to counter Meepo, and it will completely hinder what Onyx's game plan is. But yeah, I mean, the Coddle ban for Demon, I would say it's less of a respect ban and more just a get him out of his comfort zone type ban. Make sure that he has to play something that he doesn't like to play nearly as consistently and nearly as often. And it also enables push, makes it so the Lone Druid can be hitting without worrying about blinding light, and it's just going to be good overall. But the fact that NP had to go for the Lone Druid this early, because it is such a prominent hero in the metagame, and don't have the flexibility of putting Aoi 2000 like a Sven here for example,
Yeah.
it makes it a little bit more difficult because while you do have 3 more picks to deal with Meepo, you already have the Wyvern on the field.
10 seconds
Where's the
remaining.
damage coming from? Where's the ability to isolate the target? We've seen attempts
5
for heroes like
seconds
OD
remaining.
to just try to drop a lot of pure damage on him, and that has been felt with moderate
Reserve
success.
time.
In general, they have a lot of information about Onyx's draft. The question is whether or not it's strong enough, and whether or not the response is strong enough to actually deal with it.
You're right, though. Being penciled into that situation where they're
Dire
going to have
team
to
pick.
utilize that first pick to pick up the Lone Druid is a bit unfortunate because they actually had pulled out the Sven not long ago, but obviously, you know, they had the benefit of that draft kind of just moving forward and seeing if it was going to be a prominent pickup or not. Here, you know, having to
10
commit,
seconds
having
remaining.
to put Aoi into a position of getting the Lone Druid means they're not going to have
5
those other
seconds
options
remaining.
available. They get the Wyvern as a support counter option for the Meepo, but I'm very anxious to see what they're going to be picking
Reserve
up for
time.
like MSS and such that are going to be able to help spread the AoE and such. Like one of the things that popped into my mind would have been the Sand King, but it has like, already been hit with the ban.
Radiant
Here's
team
another
pick.
one though. I mean, how much attention do you think MP are going to focus around this Meepo or having heroes that can do something against the Meepo?
I mean, you have to at least have a hero that's like at least half capable of addressing the Meepo when he's all clumped up and isolating a target. The Witch Doctor at least has a tool. He's not designed to counter the Meepo by any stretch, but he definitely
Dire
has
team
tools at his disposal to deal with it. The Wyvern obviously is the linchpin though, because what it means is that Abed can't go for his traditional item build past the Dragon Lances. So what he used to do, and what he often does, is go like double Dragon Lance, double Ethereal Blade, even look at Diffusal 2, just try to get
10
as much agility as
seconds
possible.
remaining.
I think the last match that you got to cast him playing Meepo, he actually, like, at the end of the
5
game just sold his
seconds
items and
remaining.
casually bought, like, 250 agility on the hero. Like, it was absolutely stupid. But
Reserve
here,
time.
because of the Winter's Curse, you have to kind of balance your offense and your defense out,
Yeah.
which already kind of reshapes how the matchup plays out. But, yeah, you can't, it's really difficult. You can't overinvest against the Meepo, and you can't underinvest against him, or you're just going to let him roll over in his comfort zone, and then you're going to feel compelled to first ban him in the next game, which really sucks. The draft has progressed a bit for Onyx as well, though. Dubu picking up his signature Spear Breaker
Now,
for
isn't
himself.
that a bit interesting that they go for that instead of just getting him like an Earth Spirit, which we know he's wonderful at? It was still available out there, but they're like...
Did you see TI? 17%. That man has so much potential.
I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, Earth Spirit's amazing too. It just seems like a recent trend. They'll still go to the Earth Spirit if available. But yeah, Spirit Breaker kind of fits a similar build though. He's causing a ruckus in the early game
Radiant
and
team down.
allowing setups and even opportunities for like global initiations for Underlord to back up on, or you know. But it just seemed interesting that they opted for the Spirit Breaker first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, while the meme is that Dubu is a hell of a Bash Lord and he somehow
10
has
seconds
some severe
remaining.
luck on his side, I would have to say that like the problem
5
is that now
seconds
there's a bunch of
remaining.
stuns going up against the Spirit Breaker. He tries to gank a lane, Witch Doctor gets a cask on him, or Enigma gets the Malefice on him.
Reserve time.
Then it's going to be a little bit more difficult to close distance, but you still get a lot of great vision on the Spirit Breaker. Like you see Lone Druid pushing out a lane and he goes off to the jungle, you can get great intel on him. You can get BOTs up early on a hero like Meepo and just actually solidify a gank with like just the BOTs, Blink Dagger, and Aghanims, and Meepo's in a ganking position where he's able to follow up on anything the Spirit Breaker goes on. So you have a lot of global potential between Underlord Silencer and the Spirit Breaker's charge, and the Meepo is a hero that can really well follow up on that. In general, it's also going to allow him to put pressure out on the most important lane, the mid matchup, where whatever Eternal Envy is going to be playing. He could technically pick up the Lone Druid here, but more often you'll see, like I said, the OD, or if it was available, the Ember Spirit would be good. And the Spirit Breaker wants to be able to make sure that Meepo has a good lane.
What about this blaring, like, obvious thing that they just picked Enigma into the Silencer? Is that of a concern at all? I mean, it's just like, it's great they got the stun, and I know Enigma's great, but the Silencer was already there. Is that a concern at all?
It would be if the game plan of the Enigma was to make big black holes happen. But honestly, that is not the game plan of Enigma this game. He's going to get a very early mechanism. He's going to try to make it so that the early burst damage of the Meepo, a very offensive hero, is mitigated by that item. And the biggest spell this game from Enigma is actually the Midnight Pulse. Pure damage based on a percentage of the target's HP means no matter how tanky Meepo gets, that he's still going to be having essentially a time limit on his lifespan. Because if you're fighting inside the Midnight Pulse, you're only going to be able to live for so many seconds before you have to get the hell out of there. Mechanism, Vladimir's, they can help to keep you sustained, but at the end of the day, Meepo is kind of live or die on making sure that his heroes, all of his clones stay alive. And I think that the Midnight Pulse is actually a great tool to deal with that. If they can just keep a target locked in
10
place,
seconds
with Entangling Roots, with the Paralyzing Cast, with Malefice, on top of that Midnight Pulse, Black Hole or not, Enigma's going to do work.
That's true. It's true. I mean, the other thing is that if he's not planning on using Black Hole, and Silencer's in the mindset, it's like, I'm going to use my global when he uses Black Hole, then you just have 2 big spells that are going to be just kind of tied up. It's unfortunate as casters and spectators because we want big black holes and we want to see the big plays happen, but you're also going to be keeping Silencer's hand tied a bit if he's like not going to be able to just pull the trigger on getting a global silence out.
And that means you actually protect the Death Ward as well. Like, Silencer was picked to counter out Witch Doctor a little bit because whenever you see a Death Ward, pop the global. Well, if you're waiting for the black hole, you might not have that option, especially if MSS picks up a BKB.
Yeah, you just pick up a bunch of channeling options. Then it's like, yeah, you want a global for this one? Well, we got 2 more coming your way.
Yeah.
So who knows if they get Envy some sort of ridiculous like channeling hero in some way. But now he's going to be slated to go against the Meepo matchup, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Something, I don't know how often Envy has had the opportunity to, dive into or not. And now we have to rattle our brain. What kind of viable options are there? Raze and, Shadow Fiend would have been wonderful. It's a great nod from Onyx to ban it out. So other Envy heroes, Invoker already taken off the field. Obviously, Ember's not there.
Could definitely see the OD coming up, but we got 1 second. No, it goes Ursa. All right. So this is actually a really good melee versus melee matchup. The less the Spirit Breaker is involved in this mid matchup, the better it is for Envy. We're going to be seeing MSS in the offlane. And if Meepo gets out of control, like the tempo might swing the other way.
There's so many potentials. It's just like the risk at Ursa could get Earthbind, kited, Roots are there too, Spirit Breaker in your face, but there is so much potential for sustain. You got the heals from Wyvern, the heals from Witch Doctor, Enigma probably going to be slated to get a mech at some point. Look at this, though. Venomancer, the last pick for Team Onyx here.
That's a carry, right?
That's a carry Mason Venomancer, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, technically you can safe lane the Silencer as well, and he can get farm, but it's not really going to be a game changer this game from what I can tell. So it looks like it is going to be that Veno that actually goes as a carry. I mean, what you want is just mobility. You could essentially kite out this Ursa. Venomous Gale, really strong this game on the Lone Druid and on the Ursa. And then you get like a 4-staff on 2 or 3 heroes, and you're able to just really reposition the fights extremely well. You also can combo up Gale really well with the Underlord's Pit of Malice. And you're able to get at least 2 roots out of that one. So comboing that up with the Earthbind, the Pit of Malice, the Gale, it's just like you're trudging through a swamp here if you're NP, and it's so difficult for you to stay on target.
5 seconds
well, there's our 5-man spread here. It's actually, I find myself having a difficult time evaluating the draft and making an early prediction as far as who's going to be able to get the upper hand on this. I felt like it started really nice for Onyx. I mean, you're leading in, you get the Underlord, huge pickup early, and then because they're giving a lot of respect for the Coddle and Ember bans, you get your Abed Meepo then, and they had the great counter for the Silencer. But then, yeah, MP move on. They have the Enigma, such a tremendous amount of sustain, ridiculous amounts of lockdown and stun. It feels like it's more execution heavy for MP, but these guys have been around the block for a while. They've had similar kind of lineups.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to call.
The big lane I'm worried about is MSS. I haven't actually seen Enigma go offlane in 7.0, so I'm wondering how the changes have affected him. I guess he's a hero that can really make use of the Shrine in both mana and HP, because you can just keep on spamming out Eidolons. Whenever you get harassed too significantly, then you can bail out. But I feel like it's also a hero that can be vulnerable to dives a little bit. Obviously, the Spirit Breaker and Venomancer are happy to oblige in that capacity. So yeah, we're going to see MSS. He starts off with the Blightstone, really looking to poke hard with these demonic conversions.
Only 1 TP movement here, and it's going to be from the side of MP as Rose takes flight. He sports 2 Ob, pops 1 down. And Onyx are moving more as a 5-man smoke here. Could find themselves crossing paths with Rose soon.
Very close call.
Who is very deeply
committed. Lots of pings.
Pings are all over the place.
He doesn't have a TP either.
Smokes
he should be
have been
dead.
Popped. Yeah, Rose is in certain trouble. He tries to go for the flight, but he's now going to be flying too far. And it looks like first blood's going to be handed over. Who's going to go for the last hit? It's going to be Bulba picking it up there. All right. Well, do you think it was worth the journey? They get the 1 obs down. He's
what kind of question is that, Dakota? You both smoke. Like, they got exactly what they wanted from that, honestly. Like, for your first blood. in the end, but still pretty interesting. That being said, yeah, I'm mostly looking to see what Rose has in store for us past that first blood, because he's actually the one sporting the boots. It's going to be a 5-position SVG Witch Doctor, and it's going to be this Wyvern who's trying to make more things happen.
Yeah, I mean, the most aggressive support Wyverns I've seen is like when Navi Soniko was like pulling it out at the start. You'd see him flying over the cliff here in the mid lane and sniping at the mid laner with Arctic Burn, which we may just see here and now.
I mean,
It's
I think
great.
he just wants the courier.
It's great, but it's such a long cooldown. Like, you got to get the first one off, and you got to really make a lot out of it. And as you said, he could be just waiting for the courier to come, which for now is not really on move. So we'll have to see how much patience Rose is actually going to have there.
Yeah.
Because he could be waiting quite a while.
Yeah, Abed feels like he doesn't actually need the healing salve. He's not up against the Ursa, by the way. He is up against the Lone Druid. And in this case, yeah, he's got his boots queued up, and it's still going to be another 100 gold before that heads out. So Rose walks out, the Observer Ward spots him, and it's just going to be Bulba taking a little bit of harassment, but being overall quite fine. But this Enigma is actually the interesting one, I think. Down in bottom lane, how he moves his Eidolons is very important, because he can either put out a ton of harassment onto Mason, or he could be feeding a lot of gold the other way.
For now, he sports his early level 2, but I don't imagine there's going to be an overwhelming amount of pressure. Now, Dubu's going to be tied to this bottom lane because of their dual lane setups and assistance for Bulba at the top lane by Demon. Means that the Spirit Breaker is just kind of going to be locked here for now. So is that going to be a bit of a problem for Onyx for their mid lane? I don't know too much, obviously, about the Meepo versus Lone Druid matchup here, but for now they're just kind of neck and neck in CS, but I don't know how things will pan out when levels start coming in.
Both players are very experienced on these heroes. I used to actually play a lot of Lone Druid before he switched to support back in the day. So he knows about the level 5 timing and how important it is to really use the PRD and make sure that your Entangling Claws hit on heroes. So I think Aoi should be in a good position when level 5 comes out, but he's still going to need some help, some rotation, some support. The Ursa was the one that's going to win his lane, and it looks like they prioritized winning the lane over the Underlord rather than winning the lane over the Meepo. But at the end of the day, I think that most of it comes down to Aoi's going to get the levels, he's going to get 5, and then he's going to have no lane opponent because Abed's just going to be jungling.
But who farms faster at that point? I mean, an Abed jungling Meepo is probably one of the most efficient in the game here. We may have to pose this thought. Harassment comes out from MP here in the top lane, but nothing too serious. But, you know, Abed's flash farming, jungling, multi-use of his Meepos, does that beat out an Aoi free farming in the lane?
Well, I would definitely say so. He's not actually using Iron Talon, though, so that will reduce his efficiency a little bit. And one of his clones is still in the lane getting experience. So while he's not CSing much in mid, he's continuously farming gradually in the jungle.
Dubu obviously not able to go cross-country for a lot of his harassment game early on, but he's putting the most here onto MSS, even finishes off with a cute little bash there at the end. Makes his mark, and then goes back home to maybe look for another setup
Great
elsewhere.
potential swap up top, though. Right now, Demon's actually going to be the one TPing. Oh, unfortunately, he TPs back to base rather than I think the tier 1 tower would have been a much better TP position because they could actually reinforce this really quickly. That being said, Shrine, not going to be the sustaining tool. It looks like, yeah, Bulba used the Shrine, then jungles a little bit and heads back. What they can do, when you force 2 TPs like that, and one of them did get canceled, but when you get the Witch Doctor down bottom, that sets up a 3v2 play up top, where you can quickly swap over. The Spirit Breaker is really good at this, where you can suddenly change your lane priority, and you can start really pressuring the Wyvern. So I thought that that's what they were going to go for, but Demon TPs all the way back to the fountain and ends up heading bottom.
Abed in trouble, rooted down from Aoi, and he gets it done. Oh, man, just managed to lock him in his place. They were neck and neck in CS to that point, but Aoi is going to be able to take the initiative now.
Yeah, don't mess with a level 5 Lone Druid. That guy is going to be getting some really hard entangles against you, and there's really very little you can do at that point. You can try to poop out and try to always have your kind of get out of jail free card in your back pocket, but any additional hero, and that's going to be shut down.
Bulba continues to try to contest to get every bit of extra money as he steals another bounty rune from the side of NP. So big and bad, though, he walks away from all that pesky little support harassment, leaving Dubu to the lane to kind of work for himself. But it's still kind of awkward for Dubu. Can't really hold his own in the lane, and there's not obviously anyone he can really jump on at this point in the laning phase elsewhere. Go on Low Druid would just be certain doom, at least for now. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to partner up with anybody and get some action underway if that's what they want.
This is a very heavy tempo from Abed, and not going for the Iron Talon at all. He's going straight for Dragon Lances, and it looks like he just wants to start fighting extremely early on. And have MSS TP out. He TPs to the tier 1, so he'll be able to, well, the Shrine's not available, and it's actually getting charged under tower. No, Dubu cancels it out in the end. But still, yeah, able to stay in the lane and keep getting experience.
Obviously don't want to overcommit. We've already seen MP pull the trigger on some quick tier 1 TPs. I would suspect they could look to do the same, so probably the wise decision there from Onyx, but they're still eyeballing this bottom lane or any opportunity for MSS to overstep. But still SVG and Rose keeping themselves in the dark, or at least they think they're in the dark. That ward still continues to give so much intel to Onyx right now. It's going to be expiring now, but does give them the idea that there could be trouble coming to this bottom lane soon.
Yeah, they didn't see the smoke, but they definitely saw these two heroes down in that general part of the map, so should be at least generally prepared. And it's not going to be a Spearbreaker and then Wyvern that cross paths, which I think means no fight's going to happen. Neither one really wanting to engage so far off of the lane.
Yeah, Dubu spotting that out certainly helps the case for Onyx.
Yeah.
MP are not going to be comfortable converging whatsoever, and they'll just have to take their business up and elsewhere. Bulba, 6 minutes, so it's another bounty rune he may fight for, but it looks like he knows that he'll cross paths with Envy, and that is a fight he would not win, so he will say see you later. Heads back to the lane here. So back to a bit of the calm. Abed, the grind continues here in the jungle. The first Dragonlance almost done. The Meepo is looking to build up to that point when it becomes unleashed. What is that point for a Meepo, you'd say? Like, what item, what level does he begin to, you know, go on his merry way?
I mean, obviously, when he gets his second ultimate point and he gets a third Meepo is really good. As far as initiating, though, that's kind of the key thing, is whether or not either the Veno, the Spearbreaker, or the Underlord is able to allow him to get on target, or if he needs a Blink Dagger to do that. I think that it's really important for Meepo to be able to close distance and to find targets with and not have a lot of time running around between his target and a safe position. So, in general, I would say when one Dragonlance and a Blink Dagger is up, or obviously the Ags, if he has it available, will give him the durability he needs to just run up to him. So it comes down to really playstyle, and if Onyx are able to get the initiation off so that Meepo can just kind of walk it in.
Now we beginning to really rip through that mid-tier 1 as there's an approach for Demon in the bottom lane. A man left alone, and within the trees, a black hole will even be committed just to ensure it. Kill secured. As MP pull ahead now 2-1. They'll also take that tier 1. In the mid lane, Bulba's kind of stepped in to help be the defender, while top lane, a charge is out for Envy here. Can Mason and Dubu do enough? Nope, TP's going to be rotated out. Envy pops his ulti. Should be able to shrug out the damage.
Yeah. Not a lot of Venomancer's abilities can be dispelled, but that Poisonous Gale can be dispelled by the strong dispel of the Enrage. So in this position, yeah, he just has to wait for that, and he should be okay to at least play safe under tower. But it also offers another opportunity for them to go in. I mean, they still have vision, they have charge back up, and it's on cooldown for 30 seconds.
Yeah, Envy's losing a lot of his life here.
Yeah.
They saw him walk right over here. They're pinging him out right now. Blue is close by. Bulba should be able to set up the easy set of nukes, and they should be able to get the takedown. Cold Embrace will come out from Rose. They're really making him work for it here, but they'll finally get it done. Probably not enough to be able to make the follow-up play happen there for Rose, but they have been parked here, and they'll finally earn their kill. In the meantime, MP do trade. They take a tier 1 in the bottom lane.
Yep, just popping out the battle cry and clearing that up, no problem at all, and just doing what Lone Druid does. And top tier 1's going to be falling as well, so that on that front they're even, and the kill scores kind of evened out as well. A big thing in my mind is when these ultimates start coming online. If we look at overall levels, you got 3 heroes still at level 4, a Wyvern kind of leading the pack of the supports at level 5, and it's really important when some of these ultis start coming out. We talked about the Global Silence and its interaction against a lot of these abilities, but getting out an earlier Death Ward can be very impactful, and of course, being able to Nether Strike and kind of secure those ganks as well.
There have been an approach here from NP into this bottom lane for quite a while. Demon continues to wait within the trees, but doesn't look like there's going to be any comfortable openings here for either side. Some good wards from NP. Nice deep one is going to be able to spot this rotation over, and they'll go back to the drawing board of farm for now, which in the meantime they're kind of neck and neck, looks like, here for Onyx. I mean, Lone Druid and Meepo share about the same in the net worth, and Mason and Envy also pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, a very close game, and it could explode one way or another very quickly with heroes like Ursa and Meepo on the board. One thing that I really like about NP's overall game plan right now, though, is they're really controlling Meepo's access to farm. Like, the fact is, they have an Observer Ward and a couple of heroes being very present in the Radiant jungle, and it's shutting down 3 camps that he otherwise would be free farming right about now.
And yet, I look away one moment. He's about to finish his Dragonlance. Okay, I look back. He has 2. So.
I mean, that's the strength of the Meepo. He just kind of starts exploding more and more and more. He'll get Aghanims, he'll get another point in Divided Stand, and suddenly all 5 Meepos will be just ramping up the money because he's able to keep finding kills, keep finding farm. Like, this hero just is all about this kind of explosion of critical mass here around like the 15 to 20 minute mark.
It does feel like there's just going to be like a certain trigger point that Onyx could just begin to almost stampede towards NP with. Speaking of stampedes, Dubu will charge out from trouble here in the top lane. But bottom, we catch the back end of it. SVG probably going on his own little covert mission to get some wards down or something. Just far from home and in enemy territory. He gets spotted, he gets punished. But, you know, there's going to be the point here where Bulba is getting closer to finishing out the mech. Demon has finally got to his level 6. I'm sure Atome helped with that, and he's got his global online. You're acknowledging Meepo really coming into his prime here soon and being able to take some fights. Mason's Veil is now complete. So is this time for Onyx to maybe consider some 5-manning?
Oh, they still want to get the Tool of Initiation. That's Abed getting a Blink Dagger. Obviously, they have a couple of good abilities that are decent at relatively long range, but you're still up against a lot of fast heroes. So unless Dubu connects, as we look to do so top, he gets 1 bash, but he's going to need a lot more if he's going to be able to stay on Aoi.
Demons on the other side could end up walking past the rest of NP, or looking to come over and help out as reinforcements here. The Maledict's going to connect onto Demon. He's going to be forced to retreat, but they're hitting him with a lot. They'll have to heal him up a bit, but he has got to step on back. MP fully converge for assistance while we have Abed still farming through this bottom lane. Just no opportunity there. Onyx were hoping to get the jump on something, but MP are there defensively to help out Envy, or sorry, Aoi.
No. And Abed does go for the treads before the blink, so delaying his timing window a little bit, but making it that much more potent when he finishes it up. So very, very shortly, Abed will be ready to rumble, and everybody's going to be happy to fight with him. Right now, 2 heroes lacking their level 6. Dubu's about to find his, and SVG is still half a level away. These ultimates obviously very important because, like we talked about before, you can only global 1 of the 2 channeled abilities. So that enables either Witch Doctor or Enigma to have a really good ultimate out in these fights, and just offers more ideas in terms of positioning. As you alluded to, though, with Mason's Veil, it seems like they have the better damage output right now, and yeah, they're just looking to continue to put pressure on each and every lane, bottom and end, mid-tier 1 being chipped away at.
All right, lots of level 6s ready to go here. Mason starts things off, just creeping these wards forward, but MP do have access to Aoi to help bring them down, and in the meantime, here they go. They're smoking, wrapping up and around, hoping to get the jump on Onyx, but what are Onyx doing? They're wrapping up and around the other side and could find themselves in a high ground advantage if MP continue to cross the lane here.
No scans from either side, surprisingly, and that means they're going to just find a blind opening here. Venomancer gets the Plague Ward out, the smoke breaks, and the smoke fails.
We've seen this story once already this game. MP not going to be able to get some leverage and try to make a flank play onto Onyx. Onyx already head elsewhere and will continue their farm game. And if that continues to be the case, like, who does that benefit more if we end up going back to, okay, back to the farm game, and we're farming some more, and we're farming some more? Is that a greater thing for Onyx or a greater thing for NP?
That's actually a really difficult question to answer because, like, long term, NP are going to want the most farm in this game. They're at the latest stage of the game, they're going to be the ones who want to have the most items, actually.
Yeah, they've already made their move onto Aoi here. Dubu was parked within the trees. There's going to be the charge. There's another strike. Global comes out as SVG rotates in to help, but it's so much heal, so much sustain that they're not going to be able to get it done. Bulba says, we got to go, or I got to go at least.
Jeez.
Gets out of there.
And nobody dies out of all of that, amazingly. Down bottom, there might be an ultimate coming in. Winter's Curse is available here for Abed, but they need TP reinforcement, and only the Ursa has it. There it is, Ursa coming in. Abed!
Pop the ulti, there it is. And that should be good enough. Envy will wait for the ulti to conclude and finish what had been started by Rose. Nicely set up there from NP. Abed goes down.
Now, little delay from Envy means that they do lose the tower in the process, but that probably was going to be going down soon anyways. But yeah, they kept the lone turret alive up top, which is just outstanding. But to go back to your question of who values farm significantly more. NP in the long term are going to want the most, but right now every item spikes Meepo's power so much because he's able to get 6 slotted so quickly, and then he might just be able to snowball the game off of just this double Dragon Lance Aghanim's Ethereal Blade. If he can do that, then I mean, obviously that's going to give the most farm priority to Meepo and to his team Onyx, but long-term NP want to drag this one out.
After a hard hit there, losing Abed and not being able to get the finish onto Owie, Onyx try to shake it off and get themselves back into action now. They smoke up and head up into NP neck of the woods and see another possible opportunity to make the go onto Owie. MSS is here. There is a black hole. There is no global silence on Demon. He used it in that previous fight, and it's going to be out for 30 seconds, but they're looking to make the go regardless, and there it is. A quick jump onto Owie. This time he's taken out with really no chance whatsoever. Rose comes in. He does have Winter's Curse back up.
This is a really tough fight without the Lone Druid. I think they just have to focus on defending the tier 2. I mean, they really didn't pop anything to bring him down. They just jump him hardcore, and
Yeah.
at this point, while Onyx might not be able to push the next objective, NP can't take a fight.
Envy got to be careful to not
Radiant's bottom
go too
tower
far
is under
on that
attack.
leash away from his team. He's got backup nearby, great support in team fighters, but without having Owie as your real X factor, it's a bit hesitant here for MP as Onyx make the move into the Roche. Wolf heading up ahead. They're going to quickly
Nice
take
cask.
control of the Wolf. The cask is going to be flying out though. Dubu will charge off and away from being in a bit of trouble. But MP obviously not looking to let Onyx just slide themselves into getting that extra life, and it is going to be enough to deter them for now.
Very important that they keep the Roshan out of Meepo's hands as well. The Aegis is Meepo is arguably the best hero to have Aegis on. The resets the HP and mana of every one of his clones. So very, very potent, but at this point in time, Ursa obviously better at taking it, Meepo hungrier for it. So key objective for both sides, and I think it'll probably just be guarded for the most part. Nobody really wants to commit to the pit.
Smoke here from Onyx if they can get a casual approach, but the smoke is popped. They have the ward down, and they charge on the SVG who's trying to just deward that high ground. He will get focused and probably dealt with. No, he pops the shrine. He's going to be fine. They turn it back instead onto Dubu, and they'll be able to bring him down. Onyx trying to move in to get the leverage, but end up losing one. They end up getting the ward down, but obviously they'll know that there's a new ward up there and take care of it.
Yeah, I love the pit placement from Bulba there, making it so there's no way they can go through the choke, but... Dangle,
The
no way.
route too. I don't think there would have been much chance for him to make it away regardless, but that reassures it, and that could assure NP now moving into the pit without too much trouble.
Veno has to buy back if they want to commit to this pit at all. I think they should, but at the same time, their timing window is very limited, and we'll see the charge come in. No Veno buyback yet.
Oh, Abed looking to go in, gets off the early Earthbind. Where are the poofs? The Global's going to be coming out right now, but that cask was already dished out, and it locks them in their place. Envy's going to be able to snag up the Aegis for himself. And now the Death Ward comes out from SVG, and it shreds them apart. Envy on the other side looking to isolate Demon and take him down. Can they get it? Owie can get the finish.
So Venomancer are completely useless in that fight. He buys back, he TPs to the shrine, but the fight's already done
I don't know.
by the time he gets there.
MP keep chasing. Maybe Mason could turn around with a big Poison Nova, but it doesn't look like they will.
But at this point, he would have already respawned. Like, if you are going to take that pit fight, you go. You have to buy back very quickly and get to the shrine, get into the pit, and get that Gale out. I mean, he has a level 2 Gale. He has the Veil of Discord. Tons of damage rests in him, and yet there was hesitation on that call. If they don't commit to the pit, if they let the Aegis go, that's an option, and then you don't have to buy back. But they need to make a quick decision, and they hesitated, and it definitely cost them.
Maybe in hopes of getting someone to jump onto Bulba there. He drops the preemptive pit, but MP not quick to make any hasty decisions here. They're very satisfied with their position in this game. It had been pretty neck and neck up to this point, but being able to take that good skirmish, that Roche, this puts MP back up into a comfortable level, so it's better for them to step back, make sure all those cooldowns are off. just so much winning's already going their way that they'll be happy to dictate things moving forward.
And now NP don't have to stay in this area. They don't have to control the Roach Pit for a very long period of time. Yeah, they don't get to keep the Aegis out of that exchange, but they made sure that Meepo doesn't get it, and that's the big deal here. Meepo, he'll farm up to his next E-Blade. He can get that pretty quickly, but after that, like he doesn't get much scarier than this. Like he can build himself up a little bit more BOTs instead of treads, a couple of E-Blades, or maybe like a Scotty or a Heart instead. But in general, like as it stands,
I mean, I dare ask the question. You're saying he doesn't get scarier than this. I'm like, has he been scary yet? Is the thing. I mean, that could be credit to NP making sure he's not able to be the scary Meepo we're used to seeing here. But he's been forced into like this farming orientated. We're not able to really see him get pickoffs, take big leaps into these team fights.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I feel he has been hunted more than he's been the hunter, and a lot of it comes down to NP's map movement. He's 1-3-1 right now, and I would say right now he's theoretically scary. Like he has the potential to just blow somebody up. He's terrifying in that capacity because that's the nature of the hero. But you're right. In this game, the way that he's been played and the way NP have played against him, he really hasn't gotten enough done.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Things moving forward here as Onyx make their new approach towards the tier 2 here in the top lane. NP side, they're already working on a tier 2 here in the bottom lane, so it should be a quick trade for them. Will they rotate up to the top lane, though, to defend it? Rose is already here. He's glimmering. He's looking to go in and set up the ulti. Leads it up with a Splinter Blast, and there it goes. And the Meepo begins to turn onto himself. And there he gets finished. Easily done there from Rose to set things up, leading him with the Glimmer Cape. And now MP looking to grab a hold of anyone who doesn't make it out in time. Dubu, will be able to charge away before the Malphus will fly out from MSS. One victim, and it's Abed.
Yeah, tried to save him, Demon. As soon as he sees a Wyvern, he slams out the Global Silence, but it's just a moment too late, and the Witcher Curse comes out. It's such a good counter to the hero, and it's a reason why first picking Meepo is such a dangerous thing to do. Fourth pick, fifth pick, Meepo is such a strong hero to draft. In fact, probably the strongest fifth pick in the game. But when you have enough counters in play, specifically this Wyvern, then yeah, it's actually a hero that can be dealt with, as we've seen a couple of times from Rose now.
And it's always available, each and every fight. The cooldown's so nice, and something obviously MP were probably prepared for pre-draft. And I would imagine not going to be looking to acknowledge a first phase ban of Meepo at all moving forward here. But Envy gets locked from Dubu, but Dubu just absolutely can't move, as he just locked in his spot and eats a facial of a death ward there.
Yeah, MSS and SVG coming up there very nicely. Between the Malefice and the cast, there's no way that he finishes that Nether Strike, and he just gets locked in on the Midnight Pulse death ward. So, yeah, twice now, Dubu kind of gets isolated, tries to over-initiate and overachieve, and here he's not finding the kills that he needs. Instead, it's his entire team that's sitting behind saying, well, we really can't do anything. Here's a Pit of Malice, here's some fire, but there's no boom. And I think that comes down to the fact that Global Silence is still on cooldown. He used it up top, didn't end up saving Abed, and now Jimmy's just waiting for an opportunity for them to actually take a real fight.
MP now cleared out. All but one remaining tier 2 here in the mid lane. This goes down, Shrines become available. More money to trickle in for MP on this one, but they are not shying away from any opportunity to maybe take a fight. Mason pushes out the top lane and uses his wards to try to not allow MP to get the jump on them, as Owie continues this ridiculous long-ranged siege. No threat whatsoever, and now the tier 2s are going to be down. On the other side of things, Abed moving through very deep. It's just farming, splitting the waves, doing what he can here to keep the game alive.
All right, MSS actually gets a blink back and scares off Dubu. A little hesitation, and now he's in trouble. One more hit would have brought him down, but a nice little force staff.
We're not done yet. Owie from downtown there, almost. Adds in the extra bit of pepper to get the finish, but looks like a very thankful Dubu will be able to make it back and away. MP will just settle for the Shrine instead, round back up and around the corner here, and then, I don't know, maybe play with the clock, wait for the next Roche. We'll have to see.
Yeah. And, yeah, Abed is pretty much nearing his maximum potential here. 25 agility from the Eagle Song, finishes up the E-Blade to complete that to 40. And then that's about all you really got in the tank. I mean, yeah, you'll go BOTs, you'll get either another E-Blade or a tanky item, but in the end, I actually feel like NP have addressed this threat very handedly. It goes to show that while Meepo can be one of the best picks in the game, it's just not one that you can just throw in there willy-nilly. You have to plan when you're going to draft it. And the way I expect the future drafts for this to play out is that NP will just ban out Meepo Phase 2, and they will counterpick Meepo in Phase 1. So if Onyx ever really decides to go all in for that Meepo, there's going to be answers. And it's heroes like this Winter Wyvern.
You don't suppose there's a world where Onyx just first phase ban the Wyvern and still first pick the Meepo, right?
Well, I guess it depends on the order. If I saw a Wyvern ban Phase 1, I would probably be banning Meepo against Onyx, even if it was Phase 1. That would change up the whole spectrum, though. There's so many more heroes that enter the pool in that case.
Here we see MP able to go from the coast-to-coast shrine takedowns, and now we'll just segue down this top lane in hopes of making their first approach actually inside the Onyx base. Onyx, however, they're waiting to see if someone rotates down to this bottom lane, and maybe they can get the jump onto them.
Oh, Rose going in hard. He TP'd down solo, and he's actually going on Mason here.
Oh, but Envy showed up. They TP'd back to the shrine, and they're going to be able to get the jump on them. Dubu was hanging out still on the side, but he's just going to be the one-by-one feed. Now, it has been able to pull off the attention of MP pushing in that top lane, but, you know, losing Mason, losing Dubu certainly just, you know, they don't help at the end of the day.
Still an extremely good read on that situation, because when you look at it, NP had more potential to push the Radiant Tier 3 than Onyx had to push the Dire Tier 2. So obviously, in that situation, Onyx is the one that has to back. Onyx is the one that has to go back to their base because they have more to lose. So in that situation, Rose just smokes TP's back and says, okay, well, while they're retreating, we'll split them in half, divide and conquer, and they take out half the team like that. Really good movement that a lot of players wouldn't see. That's, I mean, 1437, he's been in the game a long time. He's been coaching a long time. Like, he really studies those kinds of movements and those next level plays, and you just saw it right there.
Definitely helps keep them up on top right now. They're not going to be able to push too far forward to make up for the bit of timing while they are out of the game, but they will get to push your bottom. You know, the fortunate thing with this Meepo, I bet, is, you know, just as they were about to push into the base in that top lane, now look where the top lane is, already back up towards this tier 2. Just get it right back of the way to MP, and they're only going to have to start over once again on just trying to get the momentum across the river. Probably will come around once again on a new Roche fight, but you know, MP can take the time instead to kind of build up these next big set of items here. I see SVG sporting a good chunk of change. Aoi is looking to finish out. It looks like the build towards an AC. I mean, he has a Hyperstone for now. So
Yeah, Mjolnir probably just to
you're right,
make sure that he has all that damage flying out.
Of course, of course.
I do want to draw some attention to a unique talent choice. It's actually not the uncommon one, in the sense that Meepo at level 20 decided to go for attack speed over evasion. This is technically a higher win rate. This is technically actually offers more to the Meepo in a general sense, as Spearbreaker gets picked off here towards the mid lane. But in this situation, evading his own attacks might be the key to the getting back in the game. When you get hit by the Winter's Curse, evasion will help you all of your clones, no matter which one's targeted. And
That's funny,
and maybe you need that. You need to evade the Ursa a little, evade your own Meepo strikes a little bit. While attack speed is the kind of cookie cutter build because it has a higher win rate, has more success, giving all the Meepos that extra damage output. Maybe you just need to live. I don't know.
It'll be an interesting situation that he is going to have to try to avoid dealing with that Wyvern ult any further here. Easy Roche pickup here for MP. Envy will pocket up the Aegis.
Like, for example, I could see a Solar Crest being a really great tool for any member of Onyx. Like, I used to say, like, Lotus Orb is really good against Wyvern, but the way that Rose has been using it, that's not really the case. You just need to E-Blade, essentially have the main Meepo back, and E-Blade it, or have an ally Solar Crest and just try to keep it alive that way. That's the only way it's going to really work.
Unfortunately, though, I mean, they have assisted tools, but in the form of, like, you know, force staffs. Hurricane, one for Mason. Jimmy's trying to finish out a force staff for himself. Dubu, as we know, has been, unfortunately, the punching bag for MP for the most part of this game.
Yeah.
So a new item is not coming his way anytime soon here unless they're able to try to move forward with some objectives. So things pretty thin here for Onyx at the moment. We'll have to see where it goes. But Envy confidently starting his stuff down in the bottom lane, playing around smokes or something. We'll have to see what Onyx are going to do, man. I don't know. It's very grim.
Envy does get charged up here, but not really too much to speak of. He is actually going to be going for a Linked Sphere next. And he's going to go commit to Dubu and just crush him down. No problem at all. That negative armor from Dezo. borrowing his buddy Aui's build, and it's very successful in just his heavy physical damage output. Even going now onto the Underlord, only 1 point in his passive, and it's not going to be enough to keep him alive.
Wow. I mean, was that a big Underlord? He looked like a creep the way he just fell. That was ridiculous. Envy hits so hard at this point. You don't want to be standing in front of him no matter who you are. Mason, to the high ground to TP. The Savage Roar will cancel it out. Nowhere feels safe. MP take another coast-to-coast kills here for Aui's. He gets a double. Abed nearby, trying to poof away to safety, but the Malphus comes out from Aui, and they all converge in for the little guy. And it's another kill for Aui.
Honestly, at this point, the damage output from Aui and Envy is just unbearable.
I like what you did with that. I like what you did with that, Blaze. Very funny indeed. Oh, here comes MP, though, for closure on game number 1 and the lead in the series. Onyx probably feeling pretty confident at the start of this draft. You get your early signature Abed Meepo, but MP come prepared and ready and make it not look like too much of a threat whatsoever. 1 Rax goes down and MP pull off. Playing safe and keeping what winnings they got.
Yeah, and have you even felt the impact of the silencer this game? Like, we talked about it, it's the opposite of like quick draw. It's you have to hold your ultimate the longest, and as a result, like it just feels like this hero has been barely existent. Demon, he's stolen 4 intelligence this game. He's not been able to offer any controlling options, and obviously Dubu trying to make that happen has just been suicidal. It's just at this point NP have so much going for them, and it seems like it only gets worse from here. The Meepo starts tapering. He had to buy back there, so he can't even finish his last item. And there's actually a Lotus Orb up on the Wyvern of all heroes, so in a really good position to just make it very difficult to counteract play.
Yep, or remove silence or anything like that. Like it's the tools that are available to Onyx are becoming more and more irrelevant. Mason able to slide and avoid trouble from Envy here. Dubu sees an opportunity to charge on in, hits up SVG. As he goes for another strike, he just gets easily Savage Roared and then rooted down and taken apart. Now it's going to be Bulba in a bit of trouble. He tries to go for the Dark Rift. Can he turn the corner and make it away? It looks like he may be able to juke away from Envy on this one.
Oh, Black Hole!
Rolls in, gets off the Poison Nova, and quickly gets taken down on the other side. It's Envy who's going to help shred apart the rest of the Meepo army. And that will do it in that game. It's MP who take game 1, 20-6 to lead things out.
You're playing against Team Onyx, you do not ban Meepo, and everything goes better than expected. That is a really well-executed strategy from NP, controlling the enemy jungle early, rotating really well in their lanes. Obviously, he was put on a pedestal just from the draft alone, but I gotta say, 1437, Rose, Theban, whatever you want to call him, he was the man this game. He was able to make so many great preemptive rotations. He found so many great ultimates on the Meepo himself, and he was able to set up his team for great success. This was NP Dota at its finest, and they are going into Game 2 with a 1-0 advantage.
Definitely going to be something for Onyx and Onyx fans to kind of scratch their head over, and makes me very anxious to see how the start of the next draft is going to go. At that point, do you seek like redemption that you want to make up for that Meepo game and try to sneak another one in there? Do you second guess yourself and not go for it? I mean, if you're MP, you're feeling like you're going to be dictating the next draft, the next pace of the game. So it's very, very nice for them, but it is a best of 3. We have another game to get into. We'll cut to a break. When we return, myself, Coddle Guy, and Blaze will be back to bring you game 2 of, I forgot the name of the teams, Onyx versus NP. We'll see you soon. Championships America Qualifier. We are getting into what could be our last game of the day. That's at least if Team MP have anything to say about it. It's NP versus Onyx here in the best of the winners in Group B. And as I already mentioned, MP have the one-game leverage, taking it to Onyx and their Abed Meepo. Back in house here at the Beyond the Summit offices in Los Angeles, joined by my good buddy Blaze. It's only me and you here at the offices today, enjoying some awesome Dota on Super Bowl Sunday. Sports ball sucks. We like Dota.
Exactly. But yeah, no, this Dota's been hype, man. Like I don't feel bad about missing out at all. This has been some amazing games of NA Dota. Yeah, it's been 2-0 so far, but like it's been really dynamic, good drafting from both sides, and while like at one point the game feels really one-sided, the build up to that, the game was dead even for a very significant period of time. So I'm enjoying it. It's been a great day of Dota, and obviously I haven't been casting in a while, so it's great to be back on the microphone. But looking at Game 2, Onyx looking for a new strategy to go into this one, as something you alluded to in the last game is the potential for them banning Wyvern in Phase 1. And the draft order matters a lot, because if you have first pick, you don't have the last ban. And so in this situation, NP had the first pick, and they actually don't know what Onyx's second ban is going to be. So let's say instead of a Lone Druid, a Wyvern does get banned out here. Meepo is then a very significant threat, and you have to pick a lot more to counter him than just one or two heroes. So in this case, the second ban is just going to be the Meepo. Take that out of the equation entirely and play their game. And so this does obviously put more heroes in the pool, specifically the Ember Spirit, something we haven't seen in most drafts. I think it's almost always first ban, and now we see that that is actually going to be available.
But I love what MP do. They're like, you want to pick the Ember? We're going to have the Doom ready for it.
So you're always going to have an answer, but at the same time, then like, a bunch of heroes pick up Lincoln Spheres, and that creates some difficulty.
That's
it
true.
Really comes down to the early game, like how SVG uses the jungle and his devoured creeps to really make his mark. But
I like it though. But putting out the Doom is not just. It's just. I feel like it says so much more than just I have a Doom. It's like go ahead and pick the Ember. You know, just like last game, and you felt good about getting the Meepo. We'll have something ready for it. So I'm curious. It's like a power play by MP here, and I'm curious if Onyx are going to take and just go for the Ember, or if they're going to challenge MP. And, I don't know. Maybe pull out something new.
Yeah, the difficulty is Envy can play the Ember Spirit really well as well, especially the new Magic-based one. So if you don't pick it, you might be leaving it for him. And they're actually going to reserve time thinking about this. They go for Mason's Weaver, something that was banned out in Phase 2 of the previous game. And now they have to make a decision whether or not they actually want it. And they'll go another route. Negative armor, really good against Doom in the early game. Late game, 6-slotted Doom's going to have like plus 40 armor through all his items. But earlier, the better as far as actually taking him down, dramatically reducing his effective HP, and making him actually seem like flypaper to an extent.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this 1-2 pick from Onyx. I think they made the best out of what could have been a very awkward situation, being forced in that situation of, are we going to now have to pick this Ember or not? And it's good. It's good.
There it goes.
But, you know, as you're saying, it's like, that's fine by MP. It's like, we have already, it's like, if you're going to do this, we're going to do that. And in this case, it's you're not going to pick the Ember, we'll take it for ourselves.
Yeah. Now, obviously, negative armor is still really good against Ember Spirit, has a very low base armor, bad agi gain for an agility-based hero. But, yeah, we'll see how good the initiation comes in from Onyx here. Presumably going to have Bulba play that. That's one of his like top 4 played heroes in this patch. But, you know, obviously we have seen some 4-position play as well. And Dubu
I was going to say, what if they wanted to do a 4-position Slardar and still get like a Nyx for Bulba?
Yeah, definitely could see that working as well. Anything with more control is going to be better for them in general. But yeah, we have seen obviously a lot of 4-position Slardar in America specifically, and Dubu's playstyle really fits what you'd be looking for there. By default, though, I'm expecting it to be in Bulba's hands, and we'll just see how the draft progresses.
Yeah, then they could still get Earth Spirit, let's say, for Dubu if they want. I wouldn't mind it. He has that silence tool that could work nice against the Ember Spirit. The thing with the Spirits, a lot of them are even just good against each other. I mean, I could even see MP possibly go for it. But then again, I forgot Doom's there, and all these teams have been running Doom in that 4 position.
No Rubik pick just yet. That's one thing that was very popular in the previous series, where obviously PPD plays it, Z-Freak they both played it a lot. So in that matchup, it was very, very important. In this one, I just think it's solid because there's so many good things to steal. Crush, Shikuchi, as well as the Doom Ultimate and a few of Ember Spirit's abilities. There's a lot available that they could take advantage of, and I think that Rubik probably is a strong Phase 2 pick for either side.
I'm totally behind you on that. But we'll see. MP recognize it here and now, and if they don't favor picking it, maybe they'll consider even banning it. For now, targeting more of the mid lane, though. as they already put the ban onto the Shadow Fiend. I'm curious if they're just going to start making sure they have Ember Spirit with a decent matchup here. I don't know if they'll consider like Invoker also a possible threat, but it looks like they're going to settle for a Dazzle ban instead. Dazzle could have been even something maybe they wanted to go for on their own side. You get the benefit of the armor, which you know you're going to possibly need, but no, just the ban out.
Yeah, so since his debut on Onyx, the
10
only hero that
seconds
Abed has played that is still left in the pool is going to be that Invoker.
5
Obviously,
seconds
Wexvoker is
remaining.
considered actually pretty powerful against Ember Spirit, and I would say it's arguably pretty good against Doom, because
Reserve
he's going to be
time.
lacking mana early on. Getting an EMP can shut him down pretty hard. At the very least, he's only going to get one spell out. He's not going to be able to take advantage of like the Satyr or Purge or whatnot, but made the call earlier about the Rubik. I think it's a very strong pickup from Onyx here, and I think that it's going to be able to set up their initiation or at least follow through with it very effectively.
Yeah, I mean, you already kind of talked about Rubik a bit and already what he adds to the game for either team, so this is not
10
too
seconds
surprising of a
remaining.
pickup for him. And I also agree that Invoker is a
5
plausible option
seconds
here
remaining.
for Onyx. I'm surprised MP didn't just wanted to ban it
Disruptor.
flat out and went for that Dazzle ban instead, but
Radiant
here
team
the
pick.
Rubik will come out and then MP move in for the Disruptor pickup now. Something to help, I guess, contain and crowd control the Weaver will be nice. No Lincolns is going to stop that.
Yeah, the big thing here is that Weaver does not like to build BKB. This
Yes.
newer build Weaver likes a lot of
10
items, but BKB is
seconds
not
remaining.
among them. So forcing him to go for that as a second or third item is very strong,
5
especially if you can get it
seconds
out of just one
remaining.
hero, the Disruptor. Ember Spirit's not going to prompt it, so the Disruptor is the hero to kind of force Weaver to
Reserve
go into
time.
it. And then, of course, late game, you got the Aghanim Scepter, so that is kind of an AoE Doom on top of your single Doom, making it so
Dire
that he
team
can't
pick.
even use his BKB if he wants to. So a very powerful potential pick. Great for the lockdown in terms of positioning control. All around, I really like the Disruptor, and I think that obviously Team MP have shown that they have the strength to really make the most of the hero.
Onyx move
10
on to a
seconds
Jug.
remaining.
Helps as a good counter back to like Disruptor. Obviously, you have the Blade Fury benefit of not getting
5
picked off and
seconds
caught out. What about your thoughts on maybe MP going for an Axe here
Reserve
for
time.
MSS if you need something to help lock down onto the Jug a bit? Other than that, I would even say, I'm going to say bold, like a Faceless Void. Time Dilation is so good against Weaver, but I feel like is quite underutilized for a lot of teams. We have, especially in America, not seen like any Faceless Void play outside of their pubs. So we'll see.
Underlord's still here as far as
you're
an option for
right.
MSS.
Yeah.
It obviously combos very well with the Disruptor. Anybody who's played Dark Moon should know that by now. But yeah, it might even be overkill to an extent as far as how much AoE control I have between the steering chains, the kinetic field, and the Pit of Malice. But I mean, more roots never hurt anybody, so I could see a lot of potential value in the Underlord, who a lot of
10
teams
seconds
consider to be a
remaining.
first ban, and we got to see the prominence of it in that previous game to an
5
extent.
seconds
There's
remaining.
lots of MSS options, yeah.
So Dark
And they're going to go for the one that wasn't talked
Well,
about. They're
the
gonna
thing
go
is,
for
like,
Zendar.
MP's playstyle, all MSS has to do is just add, it's very similar to Bulbos. It's just add in some kind of generic AoE control. If you have any kind of AoE lockdown, some good hard
Dire
stun, or
team
at least
back.
positioning control, like MSS can fill those shoes really well, and Centaur is among it. Like, I think that overall, being able to allow your team to be extremely mobile with the Stampede and get in really good positions can be really good. And there's so much counter initiation
10
potential.
seconds
I
remaining.
think in this position, MP would prefer that Centaur was a Slardar, but since Slardar is
5
already taken, I
seconds
think
remaining.
Centaur is a great hero to fall back on.
Final ban from Onyx here, anticipating what could have been the Owie Sven, knowing that he could have provided an extra
Dire
bulk in the
team
durability and armor for the team, and something Owie had used not long ago. And then MP get rid of the Sand King. Last pickup for MP is the ever so lovely, of course, Naga Siren.
Beautiful.
Here.
Just
Naga
beautiful.
Siren.
Dude, when you talk about Naga Siren as a resident sleeper, you have to think about the difference between an offensive ultimate from her and a defensive one. And yeah, there's a lot of times where Naga Siren's just doing a farm fest, just Manta, Radiance, Octary, BOTs, and just being annoying all over the map and disengaging from every fight. But here, there's so much potential follow-through. You have that kinetic static storm on top of a Song of Siren ulti. You have the Centaur Warrunner following it up. Like, these are going to be some aggressive ultimates, and I think that they can actually win several fights just on the sleep alone. So, great utility. They're going to put it out there. They did read that this was going to be a 4-position Slardar. They banned out Sand King as their last, so they assumed that Bulbo was going to be playing another offlaner,
Uh-huh.
and he is. It's going to be this Omni Knight that instead of the Slaughter. Last time that Bulba picked up the Omni Knight, they were able to like snowball the game in 20 minutes, and we'll see what he can do with it here.
Was that to the benefit of Omni Knight? And why the Omni Knight? Is that strictly a response to the Naga Siren just having the benefit of that repel and being able to kind of deal with any song? Is it, you know, I'm just curious if the Omni Knight had been something that possibly was already premeditated by Onyx, or if this is something that they have spontaneously fallen on.
It was the last pick in the match that they played, so it's kind of like they get a feel for the game, they decide whether or not it's going to be worthwhile, and it does contribute a lot. Like the repel is obviously one of the key
10
aspects
seconds
of
remaining.
Omni Knight. Since the last patch, or at least 7.0, you cannot
5 seconds
dispel
remaining.
repel, you cannot purge it. And like reading that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this hero is actually going to be insane. But we haven't seen enough of it, to be honest with you. I definitely feel like we can see more out of Omni Knight. But yeah, Bulba's going to pick it up in the off-lane role. He's going to allow all three heroes, Juggernaut, Weaver, and Slardar, to get a lot more aggressive, and we'll just see what they can make of it.
Looks like as we get into it, we get into a pause. Every game we start with a pause.
whoa. Last one, we did not. Last one was Smokes and First Bloods out the gate.
I remember I was excited because it was one of the rare ones where we didn't start with a pause. I heard that they don't give the players the strategy time that we all get when we go into queue. Is
Sure.
that,
I guess that's true, yeah. They wouldn't.
They just
necessarily.
should. Like, by this point, it's like, then it's like the draft concludes, and whoever's casting, I guess, has like a 30-second window to just kind of take in the draft and get their premeditated thoughts. And
But you can't. The thing is, you actually can't ping or draw on the mini-map in the strategy phase, and it's actually a really key tool for certain captains to get things started. I mean, if you're trying to negotiate our early ward play, like you're seeing drawn on the map by Slardar there, if you're trying to decide where you're going to specifically move for a First Blood play like that, those 30 seconds can be extremely valuable.
Well, they should definitely add that in. I'm just saying that when you start a game, and then you start with a pause, it's unfortunately a bit hype-killing at that moment. But, okay, we're back into it now, everybody. Unpaused and ready to play. Game number 2 of our second series of the day. Team Onyx taking on Team NP, with NP already getting the one-game win. They are in the winners of this Group B after a swift takedown in their previous series as they matched up against SG Esports here. Onyx, who had taken down Infamous, and they're hoping to get that free scoot into the playoffs, where we saw earlier today Complexity already secure their spot.
And Bulba going to be, I don't know, having some issues here. Doing a quick reconnect, getting back into the game. But I guess we already have some early ward action here. Dubu gets to go all the way out and place that lower plateau ward between the Tier 1 and Tier 2 bottom. This makes it so that if Centaur gets any help from the Doom, it should be scouted out. So Rose is going to be making the movement. Actually, not SVG. When I was coaching Shazam, SVG was the main like roaming support. He was very involved.
Yeah.
He was very active in terms of rotations.
He played lots of Tusk at that point.
Yeah, Tusk, his Earth Spirit was amazing. Elder Titan as well.
Yep.
But here we're actually going to be seeing this strength roaming pseudo jungler to be actually in the hands of 1437.
Yeah.
He played an amazing game last time, so maybe he's just more confident on it, or vice versa. It could be just SVG really wanted that disruptor, but
No, it seriously has felt like that it's been a role change for a while now. We've seen Rose on the Mirana as well. He's definitely been more the roamer and just kind of switching that profile with SVG. But it's not to say that, 1437 hasn't been in this position before. I remember back on his time with, I believe, Navi US it was. He was the Enchantress player roaming around sniping couriers, That
was so long ago, but you're right. And while he did play a little bit of high position when he first started on NP, I remember a lot of Shadow Demon. Now he has kind of started to fill this role where he's more active, and we'll see what he can do with it. So early Devourer will obviously be looking for the neutral camp, see if he can get some Mud Golems out. Satyrs, Mud Golems, both pretty good. You can do work with the Hellbear Clap though as well. So it just comes down to what you have in your arsenal and what lane matchup you can kind of levy.
Our mid lane matchup is going to be between the Ember and the Jug, a swordsman fight, if you will, as they begin to trade early on, your Flame Guard versus your Blade Fury.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Flame Guard only receives 50 magic absorption before it is absolutely gone, so there's really no comparison until at least level 2 of that ability.
As that matchup will continue here, it does look like Rose is going to pay some early attention towards the bottom lane matchup. For now, just Mason and Demon trying their best to keep MSS backing away, but he is a big boy after all. The poor man's shield and lots of regen in his pocket. It's going to take a lot of effort to kind of keep him back. Rose shows himself now, so we're not anticipating they're going to be able to get a whole lot done. Now, on the other side, you can say the same for Bulba, though. I mean, Bulba, he's also poor man's shield, regen ready, with Dubu hanging around. So it's pretty much a wash in the early laning stage as far as on paper. Yeah.
And the strength of the Omni Knight in the laning phase, if he's not 1v3, if he's either the supportive starter here, as we can see, or just the fact that the Doom is nowhere near his lane, he can start getting much more aggressive. He can use Degen Aura to make last hitting harder for his opponent, Aoi, and just in general, like, be very far up here. I mean, he's probably going to go 1-1-1, so he can stop Glimpse and Kinetic play as SVG starts to gain levels, but right now he gets to play very far up, knowing that Disruptor has nothing but Thunderstrike to work with.
Dubu is pieced out, though, from that top lane. Got the head start for Bulba, I guess, for now, and now will join his comrades at the bottom. And maybe it hopes to catch out Rose flirting around, or even MSS moving too far forward here, but still just kind of lost in translation as far as where they want to be. Mid lane, it's Envy just barely etching ahead of Abed, at least for now. 11-5 over Abed's 8-3.
So at least for now, it's going to be a nice start for NP as a whole. Aoi is going to be able to build up towards some really good items. He's actually going to go for the poor man's shield himself. And as SVG again gets levels, it's going to be more difficult for Bulba to stay so far forward without any help. But bottom lane's actually going to be a movement from Rose here. He's got double damage rune, but Mason too quick on his feet, and it's going to be the Doom and the Centaur have to pull back.
And it's pretty damn neck and neck. I checked to one side, there's a bit of harassment, no follow through. The other side, you get a bit of the same thing here. Almost a mirror match at this point in time. Same even goes for our mid lane for now. I'm very curious at what the tipping point will actually be. I was suspecting maybe at the 2-minute mark a fight over a bounty rune, but as it stands for now, they're just going to continue to kind of trade some blows and step off. Uh-oh, here we go. Mid lane, possible rotation coming out. Demon making chase. Can he get close enough for the telekinesis? He can get close enough for the Fade Bolt.
Yep.
And that will get the kill.
A little bit more range on that one, and that's going to set up Demon really nice as he gets to buy boots very early on a Rubik. It's oftentimes you'll have to wait through, because you have to buy the Flying Courier at 3 minutes as the 5, then you have to wait a couple more minutes to finish up those boots, and then you really get to start being more mobile, more active. But that early first blood, and suddenly Demon is in the money, at least for a 5, and he's going to be able to start being more active with the smoke and etc.
I wonder if he's going to be dirty and just do the ancient pull. I wonder what helps them decide on when they feel comfortable doing it or not. If they even think it's like a, BM kind of a thing, or if they're just like, it's not necessary at this point in time.
Yeah, it's more when Abed's fully capable of tanking the wave and a little bit of envy harassment as well. And right now, he's just got level 5, so maybe at this point in time, he's a little bit better suited for it. But they also have to have vision up on the high ground for that as well.
Bottom lane, Rose will cross paths with Dubu. They will have their own exchange. Just continuing to keep each other in check, the babysitters, if you will.
Oh.
Demon throws back Envy, snags up the regen runes. So see you later.
Unfortunate for him. He would have loved to bottle that one up, can allow him to trade very aggressively. He's already behind in this situation because of that first blood. Now Abed is closing on his level 6 first. If Envy doesn't have his Fire Rune to play around with, he's actually going to be very scared of Omni Slash. So in this case, the level timings matter a lot, and not getting that regen rune means he can't trade prior to 6. So Abed is going to get a lot out of this lane for the next couple minutes now, jumping up to the top of CS, 27 and 10.
Takedown of the ward right there. Bulba's trying to get himself reacquainted in the lane. Has no mana though, so may have to pull off. We'll see if he goes back for the shrine or not.
Yeah, initiation on Centaur means he had to TP all the way back to base. Does finish up the Tranquils, but a long walk back to the bottom lane as they had already used their shrine earlier. So in this position, I would say that Bulba is actually getting a little bit more out of his off-lane situation, and obviously, we talked about it, Abed's getting a lot more out of the mid lane, as he is now level 6, and should be ready to roll with an Omni if they just get the right position on Envy.
Well, Demon's here to help out. Could get close enough for the lift. That's the moment. He's looking to move in. Oh, Envy is going to be running right back. And Demon will not be
Demon really wanted that one, jeez.
Yeah, all the way up into the high ground, too. Rose was nearby in case things got a bit too frantic, but the opportunity will come and go. And Abed will have to hold his Omni for now. But nearby, Dubu's got some of that purple goodness, and they're going to pop the smoke and round the corner here. And right through a ward that Envy is going to, hi, how you doing, everybody? Oh, he gets the chains off, but the lift will be there. Pulls him right back and into the crush. Do they have enough damage? Oh, they may. With this Blade Fury, it should be good enough. Okay, that will do it. A couple of right clicks. Envy goes down again. He is the 2 kills that Onyx have claimed already this game.
Yeah, and they didn't have to spend Omni Flash on that. So while Envy should have the Fire Remnant available for the next exchange, it's still a tool that Abed has that you can just get a couple swift strikes in right when Demon's Lift comes through.
Rotations back to mid lane. Rose was here, but not going to find opportunity. It's now a 3-on-2 hanging out in this mid lane as Dubu and Demon are not looking to back away at this moment in time. Let's go back and check out what's happening bottom. Mason's kind of having his own free will in the CS game, just matched up alone against MSS, means that he can pull ahead of everybody. 40 and 17 for him.
The big surprise for me right now is actually how underleveled SVG is. He's 3.5 right now at 7 minutes into the game. Just every single pull that he's gone for has been messed with by Bulba. You've seen a lot of play back and forth between them under the trees. And even Bulba's gotten a side pull or 2 off. So now Envy's going to clear out a stacked camp.
Oh, Rose is in trouble mid lane. It looks like he's going to be going down. Dubu and Demon continue to hang around. Sound like a pretty good tag team right there. Demon, Dubu, Dubu, Demon.
Doing work. And yeah, they're going to continue to allow Abed to just prosper in this mid lane. Should be able to build up a very nice solid core of items. I assume he's going to go for the Helm of the Dominator, as most Juggernauts have been tending towards recently, and obviously that's going to be a great tempo item for trying to push this game out before the Radiance comes online.
I was talking a bit with Lacoste about this, I believe yesterday, on the topic of Helm of the Dominators and then drums, both at about the same price point. Do you really think there's too many cases anymore where you're going to want to favor drums over the new Helm of the Dominator?
I really wouldn't say so. There are some... Oh, MSS probably going to die down bottom.
Yeah, they've made their move in. The lift, the crush, he gets the stomp off. And obviously so close to level 6, but does not have the Stampede.
Damn. As far as drums go, I mean, yeah, you get a little bit more value for Intelligence Hero. Like, still 6 to all stats except for Agi. So, in general, it's only when you really need that movement speed or attack speed active to try to secure a kill. I like it alongside heroes like Sven that really lack in attack speed and can kind of really benefit from the movement speed as well. But as far as core heroes picking up, you're just not going to see it. Invoker is probably the only exception to that.
Fair enough. Bulba still residing in this top lane, man. He's been committed here through and through, now towards level 7.5. Getting closer to the point when he can be able to bring in the Guardian Angel. A lot more wallop to the team. He already has his Arcanes, and it looks like he is slated to move on forward and get a hold of that mechanism.
Well, while Onyx put pressure down bottom, they were actually also able to get another Observer Ward on that plateau between Tier 1 and Tier 2. So they've kept that ward up essentially this entirety of this game. It's so hard to make any surprising moves down bottom.
Commitments in from Envy. Remnants forward with the chains. Finds himself crushed, but yeah, SVG will help pull back with that glimpse. Abed will have to watch his teammate go down, and it will be a successful gank there by NP.
Bulba, just not afraid of anything. With level 3 Repel and TP, usually you won't see a Naga Siren and Snare, so you really don't have to worry about any kind of control they're going to be bringing your way that you can't get glimpsed back, and etc. I'm actually kind of, I mean, obviously Riptide and Mirror Image are extremely good farming tools for Aoi, but yeah, eliminating any kill potential because he doesn't have the Ensnare.
And on the other side of the map, you also have Mason continuing to farm up very nicely. It looks like for him it'd be straight to the Lincolns as the Perseverance already complete. I imagine we're not going to be seeing too much from him, or not too much needed from him moving forward, though. As I say that, Onyx are starting to move down here in the bottom lane. He may need to get himself involved here, as Onyx are reading this and seeing NP close by. SVG walking up now. They do not want to get glimpsed back.
But yeah, again, that ward, just like they know exactly what they're getting into every time they make an approach down bottom. There's no surprises to be had here, because I mean, they've had 2 wards on that hill for full duration. It's just...
Rose has a sentry in hand, but he hasn't figured to kind of even try putting it down on that high ground.
Yeah, it's very deep. They're gonna look back on the replay and be like, oh, that explains everything. Like, that has ruined all of their plays down bottom, specifically from Rose, and it's just been really problematic. But now the Doom is level 6, so no matter what happens, if he can just TP to a lane and respond, they should be able to get a counter kill.
Hopes of a setup there on Envy in the mid lane are not going to be happening. Envy will head himself on out as he continues his track towards the Veil. Meanwhile, below, MP making their advancement towards the tier 1. Being pinged out now by Bulba. Maybe they're figuring they can get their own push here in the top lane and maybe respawn towards the bottom lane. We'll have to see. He has leveled up Guardian Angel now, so Onyx may feel comfortable about trying to take a fight.
Yeah, once you get the Arcane Boots Guardian Angel, it's pretty reliable to get off, even with limited mana. And it looks like, yeah, he just wants to make the play down bottom here, and they had a 2-man smoke that now isolates Aoi.
Aoi has a song. Is he going to be able to get it off? Yes. Abed, though, is spinning already. There'll be the Stampede coming out from MSS to allow the clean getaway.
So
that will be a song down, though, for a long time.
Yeah, most definitely. Just kind of getting caught off guard there. A 2-man smoke from a while away. And yeah, that'll be one of your defensive ultis. Of course, it is going to be at the longest cooldown, too. 3 minutes at level 1. Means that they're not really going to have any tools for engagement with both Stampede and the song unavailable. You either have to have a really nice positioning play from SVG, or, yeah, you just have to kind of YOLO it with the Doom.
A golden thread.
Dire's top tower
MP
is
continue to
under
hang here in the
attack.
bottom lane, but Onyx are not about hanging around. They go back to work as it is here. Touching base with Mason. He's still neck and neck with teammate Abed as he pushes on forward for the Lincolns. Abed here looking to finish out and build into what you were mentioning. Yeah, it's going to be the home of the Dominator buildup. And now a ward being spotted as Dubu drops it from the low ground. He moves up, hits with the Thunderstrike. Now is at risk of being glimpsed inside. The chains will miss from Envy, and they will decide not to go forward with the glimpse.
Yeah, no slight at all. Just now picks it up at level 11 here, so that means Envy unable to really get what he needed out of that to try to go for any counterplay. So again, we're just going to spread things out. The ward, however, like you mentioned, was spotted, so that should be giving NP an edge, at least on the top half of the map, while down bottom, we're just going to see continuous pressure from Onyx. And even going deeper, Dubu has gotten 3 great wards in the bottom lane, and it's just going to be making it so that NP cannot respond to defend their tier 1 tower.
Yeah, this whole situation can be easily read like a book here by Onyx, so NP take their business elsewhere, as it looks like they have smoked in hopes of maybe getting the catch here on Mason.
Oh, can
Do
they get
have
the static?
detection?
They got it.
They charge in. They'll have to burst him down with this static because I don't think they have detection for it. The Remnant's going to be there, and they will get it done. Onyx rolling in from the east side now towards this mid lane. Envy wants to get the jump for Demon, and they will be able to do it. The crush not going to be good enough. And Bulba can't get close enough to assist. A glimpse will be there by SVG. They bring back Dubu, lock him into a cage of pain, and will finish him off. This turns into an MP feeding fest right now as they take down 3.
Yeah, and yeah, that's exactly what they needed. Just being able to follow through on a couple of key targets, getting the Stampede jump on the Weaver, locking him in a cage of death, and the glimpse was actually set up by an Observer Ward, which they thought was on the high ground, and now is just a really great tool for them to see what's coming from the Shrine and to solidify those kills. So overall, really great stuff from SVG and from Envy, just being able to move very well and getting a lot of damage out here as December Spirit starts to kind of find his peak in terms of his magic damage output.
Onyx come right back from losing a couple to taking it towards the tier 1, though, to make up for the bit of lost change. And then they head right off here. A nice another deep ward will be planted from Dubu. And then they roll out. MP get back to their grind. A tier 1 will be finished bottom here for Rose, who's going to go for the Midas here. So he's planning for the late game, planning to build, probably tank up later on. While Onyx move in and begin to go for the Roche. Obviously the Slaughter makes this quite a bit easier, but are MP going to do something about it? They smoke and it instantly gets popped by Dubu. Aoi does have a song, doesn't look to dish it out just yet. Dubu, Riptide, there's the heal, they're jumping in. Are they going to continue to save him? There's going to be the song.
2-man 3-man Static Storm coming up from SVG. This is perfect setup.
Are they going to drop it right on the head? Yes, they are. They're going to be able to get between the two, and then they burst out with the chains. The right clicks from MSS, and there they both go. Omni Knight and the Rubik going to be taken out. Dubu's going to get dropped next. Mason also getting within. He gets caught out. He's ensnared. He's riptided, and he's gone. 4 dropped, only Abed surviving. MP will be happy to move in and finish what Onyx had started.
Yeah, this team is really bad at taking Roche at this stage of the game, but handed to them on a silver platter with 4 dead and the Roche already below half HP. They take this one easily. And that's all about that offensive Song of Siren. You think it's a snooze fest when Nog comes out to play, but I live for those kinds of plays, man.
Dubu running in says, I'm glad you got that Aegis, and then gets glimpsed right back home. So he's all the way back in the base. Onyx, they get a pick off.
Yeah.
A little one on Doom. But obviously, MP with 2 big back-to-back fights plus Roche, they are the ones in command. But Onyx do have cooldown. They have the Guardian Angel still to use. They're moving forward. They do not want to let this game slip away.
Yeah, now they know all those cooldowns are unavailable. I think it was actually a level 1 song at the time, so that's a 3-minute cooldown on the song, now 2 minutes. And the Centaur obviously not able to do much either. So they're not afraid of anything here on the front line. They're going to put a lot of damage in this tier 2, and the healing ward should allow them to finish it off.
There is an Envy Remnant right over here by the tier 1.
He's got Aegis, so even if he goes down the first
Doom
time...
is waiting. He's like...
It might be bait.
There he goes. He jumps in now and already makes his mark. Remnant's all the way across. Oh! Beautiful Static Storm. Going to get dropped from the man who looks like Jesus, SVG. They take out one, and they're looking to take out more. Guardian Angel does come out from Bulba as Onyx try to make a counterplay out of this. Mason takes it to Rose with the right click, but ultimately may need to backpedal a bit. They try to run up, but Envy's waiting. And now it's going to be Bulba, unfortunately, who will get ensnared. He gets right-click down. Next up in chain, it's going to be Abed as Envy makes the chase. The glimpse is there. He's able to Blade Fury it off.
Oh, they're going for it, though.
Juke, but they stampede to make chase. He tries to run right through them, but they will slash him down. Double kill for MSS.
SVG Static Storm just finished cooling down in that situation. Vicepark, please don't nerf Static Storm's cooldown. I love it so much. 90 seconds, able to get it again as a fight-winning play. I think it ended up walking into the kinetic. It was baited so hard. The Envy Remnant, they're like, yes, we found our opportunity. And then they get 3 or 4 man Static Stormed yet again without even the song to set it up. This was just absolutely perfect execution and timing from NP, and SVG just looks amazing right now.
And it feels like it just all stems from that one unfortunate, like, 3-0 team fight for MP in the mid lane. The laning phase was all going just splendidly for Onyx. But as you can see, a couple of clutch fights here, and MP are quickly finding themselves up and ahead. Already setting things up. A Remnant going to be thrown out behind the tower.
And Radiance is already up for Owie. So in all of this, he's gotten some decent assist gold. He only got the 1 kill, but I mean, just able to keep farming, build up his CS and his assist count, and suddenly he is rolling in it with this Radiance online by the 18-minute mark. Now approaching the tier 2. This is the exact opposite of what the position that Onyx needed to be in at this point in time.
Oh, the chase for Demon.
Nice repel. Nice repel. So they've got a couple tools to deal with Glimpse. The Blade Fury we got to see in mid wasn't enough, unfortunately, but we're going to see the repel coming out from the Omni, and that's going to be a saving grace. But you want to be breaking the enemy's tier 2s and even looking at high ground by the time the August Siren gets to Radiance. Otherwise, she's going to be accelerating a farm. Her illusions are going to be breaking down the map. And here we see the exact opposite. They're losing out the multiple lanes. They're down 7 kills, and NP are just getting started.
They started at the pacing they needed to be at. They, being able to move forward and have an advantage moving into those first couple of fights, and then starting to restrict the farm for the Naga. But now they're nowhere near that mark, and they continue to just fall down and below. Demon and Bulba going to get picked off in the mid lane. Set up from MSS and company. SCG drops down yet another Static Storm Hammer. And they're going to be quickly taken care of. Tier 2 now being approached. NP just trying to breeze their way into another 2-0 today.
And of course, this is going to be putting them in the top seed for the playoff bracket of DAC Americas if they can close this one out. Right now, Onyx, to get back in the game, they just need a desperate amount of farm, and they probably need some picks on the Naga at this point. Like, she hasn't even really been a factor this game, but she's gonna be, now that she's got these key items. The Radiance, the BOTs are the essentials. From there, you get the Octarine, the Manta, and you are just going to control the entire map. So they really need to find picks on the Naga, but in doing so, they have to be worried about what lurks behind. The Centaur with the Stampede Blink, and of course this SPG Disruptor that's just been doing work.
It'd be so much nicer for Onyx if they had that initiation, but until Dubu's able to get a hold of his Blink Dagger, it seems like it's just so tough for them to be able to take chances to get the jump on NP or any sort of decent setup here. They're going to have to run it in sprint style right now. It's MSS actually jumping up north. And now Dubu looks to hustle in to try to find him here. Envy also nearby. They're going to get the crush, but no follow-up. Who's going to do the damage? It's supposed to be Mason, but...
And they're still terrified. They're going to get stomped, and it's going to be the death of the Slardar. Oh, TPing out at the last possible second. And it looks like there are going to be no casualties out of it, despite... Oh, wait, no TP from Omni. 25-second cooldown means Bulba is going to be going down.
Oh, heaven above. Help me out.
Omniscience can't save you from this one, man.
Yeah, he is done for.
They're dancing all around him, taunting him in place. Oh, Lulba indeed. This is just brutal. NP are doing so much work across the board. They surprisingly didn't get the slaughter out of all that, but, I mean, that was Onyx trying to make something happen, and it gets turned right on his head.
They might get Dubu after all, though. Bottom lane, as he continues to try to farm his way towards a Blink Dagger, he finds himself approached from MP. The MP members who were just there in the top lane killing, they're already here at the bottom lane, doing more of the same. See you later, Dubu. Blink Dagger, the dreams of a Blink Dagger seem further and further away.
Not for NP. They're pretty much rolling in it at this point. They still, remember, have a Midas on a Max Devour Doom, so he's getting a ton of GPM. The Naga is just going to be building it up extremely quickly, and Envy is doing extremely well for himself as well, rivaling both Jug and Weaver in net worth. So at this point in time, he's actually going to be going for a Eul Scepter next for Envy. And with Blink, Veil, or did he sell the... Okay, he sold the Blink. I'm like, he's not that farmed. He doesn't have that much gold. If he just bought a Blink and a Eul's outright, that would be ridiculous. But ends up going for the... selling back the Blink, buying up the Eul's, and then he'll go back for Blink in the next interval.
Fair enough. He returns now. And they are
they got him.
To get Dubu. Yeah, set him with a Thunderstrike, glimpse back. No chance for him. He goes down, and now a numbers advantage for MP as they are 5 versus 4. Demon and Bulba trying to make it away, but Envy's new Eul is going to be put to work already as he gets the grab for Demon. The repel will come out from Bulba, though, and they'll be able to make it inside MSS, though. Whew, posturing up on him a bit. Trying to be a little bit of a dominant factor right there, forcing Onyx back inside where they feel it will be safe.
Oh, Doom onto Abed. Can they keep on top of him, though? Needs to, yeah, pops the Stampede. The Infernal Blade will allow them to keep him slowed, keep him crushed, and keep him killed. And that is going to be, not the delay of his Manta style, as that is picked up in his death throws, but shut down Abed, who cannot continue to push the top lane.
In the meantime, Mason, I guess, is the one winner here for Onyx in at least the past few minutes. He'd been able to kind of push his way through that bottom lane up towards the tier 2, and he's found his way to be able to finish out his Desolator. So he has a bit of damage now under his belt. Problem is finding a way to be able to set up something for him to knock down. They're going to go for this top lane, but as said before, without having that Slardar Blink Dagger, way to really get in there fast enough, it's just going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, by the time that the Weaver really is getting all this damage online, we're going to see Rose pick up a Crimson Guard and have just the way to absorb almost all of it. Like, you were really looking for a much better timing on both the Blink and on Mason's progression, and that would allow you to kind of just Blink, Amp Crush, and kill off anybody. But as it stands right now, they don't have that just because of a sheer lack of farm. The net worth graph tilting more and more in NP's favor, and it just breaks down their initiation potential. They don't have any way to make these engagements happen.
NP's vision game is also just so good.
Yeah.
They just can totally see every time these Onyx supports or just Demon and Abed rotating from top lane to mid lane and back again, and Mason too. So they could just kind of take all this information in and decide where they want to strike. They're creeping their way there now. I was figuring maybe they could hold out for Envy just to get that Blink Dagger, but he's trying to dodge the Perch Creep.
Not too necessary, as he's using his Remnants for all the mobility that he could really desire. Demon is going to lift him up here, but where's the follow-through without Duba's Blink?
Mason's here, gets some right-clicks out. There's going to be the Euls, and that's going to be it.
Best case scenario is they all get out alive. There's no way they actually fight into the opposition. In fact, it's going to be a glimpse back on Mason.
They get enough
to
have the vision, and Dubu's going to get pulled right back, and he's going to be put right back in the grave. Rose on a killing spree from that one now. MP in full control. It's time for them to start pushing away towards this top lane, the final tier 2 standing.
Yeah. At this point, like, SVG has had a geometry site for the past several minutes, deordered the entire map. Obviously, Aoi is keeping the map consistently pushed out with the Octarine Radiance, and it just makes it so that Onyx are now stuck in their base without any real hope to bring this one back.
MP just really would love to be able to close this one out, maybe on the back of a sweet little pickoff here, and just having an advantage to be able to take it to Onyx when they don't have all 5. But for now, they could decide to just wait off for the Roche to come up. It looks like they're going to have to wait just under a minute, and then they'll have the benefit of the Aegis here. Last time we've seen Naga even commit a song was level 1. Now she's already got level 16, so soon enough we'll have that level 3 song ready to go. Oh, Envy finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Is this a classic Envy situation? Nah, it looks like he's been able to rev it away. And we do have a song out, all set up, and possibly baited here. Bulba had the repel, though, is going to be fine to be able to make it away, and so will Dubu. So, song down.
Yeah, for what that's worth, it's got a 25% cooldown reduction thanks to the Octarine core, and they still are in a position where they can well enough just take down this Tier 2 tower. Mason trying to split push up top the best he can. But yeah, with Tier 2, Falls Shrines, and Roshan's back up and available. So this is just all the steps that MP needs to take to close this one out. Onyx, they are hoping for a miracle. They are hoping for just the biggest of NP throws that you have ever seen. And trust me, those are big.
Yeah. And, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of video highlights out there of some of these NP members throwing kind of these kind of games, but this is not looking like one of those kind of games. Well and composed, NP have maintained total control of this one. And the onus has really been on Onyx to try to find their way back in because NP are not really dropping the ball.
Well, there's Greaves on an Omni Knight. There's about to be a dagger on Slardar. That's about all you really have working for you, but, you know, there's actually a decent chance that he doesn't even get to use the blink in the fight. If a single Radiance ticks on him from any of the illusions from the Naga or any other stray damage comes out, he's actually just going to be the same hero that he was moments ago. So it definitely is important, and there are a number of kills that we've already seen in the past like 7 or 8 minutes that would have been set up if only he had the blink, but he's got to move very carefully in order to make the use of it.
Even now, slightly burned. Has to, okay, step away from the Naga illusion. Envy on the high ground, though. Gets off a quick set of shades and is able to quickly make it out. Good position timing for him to be able to avoid what could have been certain trouble. Now it's going to be Onyx possibly in a bit of trouble and far from
easy
home.
double, easy double.
There's the song set up. And here comes the stomp. Here comes the static storm. Here comes MP as they begin to quickly crush apart. Dubu could be set to go down here. Bulba going to be surrounded next. They dive out and over. First to go down is Demon. There's going to be Dubu dropping. Slashes out from Envy as it is going to be Aoi doing the bulk of the legwork here. Ripping through 3. Abed and Mason trying to fight for their own lives, but it's no chance at all. Ultra kill for Aoi as it turns into a full wipe of Onyx. I mean,
Abed desperately digging the TP scroll out of his backpack, like, spin TP, get out of here, but it's just too late. NP have just dropped the train on him, and all of these great Aoi 2000 initiations have set up a 29-minute victory and a 2-0 sweep for NP Dota.
NP looked great, man. What a day for NP, what a day for complexity. They come into these matchups, and you really don't know what to expect, and I would say for MP versus Onyx, people would have probably favored MP a bit, but I don't know. Is it more that MP came and had like an A+ showing, and Onyx came with like a B showing, or you know what is it? Is it MP that much better of a team?
I think it's showing that Onyx still has a lot of growth potential and a lot of growing to do. Because what we've seen from them the past 4 games that they played with Abed, they put a lot on his shoulders. Mason is consistent, but Abed's always the playmaker. Always they put a lot of expectation on him. They build around him really well. But when he's shut down, either by a counterpick, like we saw with the Wyvern versus the Meepo, or just in the laning where he didn't get nearly as much done post like 8 minutes, you got to say that they are still shouldering a lot of burden on him, and they need to build up their coordination, their communication, and make sure that everybody is put at the forefront and not just 1 or 2 star players. So, I mean, overall, I do think that MP is at a stronger point right now, but Onyx room to grow. I think that they definitely can get there. It's just going to take some time. And, well, they're going to be thinking about it a little bit back down in the loser bracket, as for Group B, they're going to be having to take on the winner of the next Group B matchup.
Yeah, tomorrow we get to go down to the lower bracket of the groups. This will earn a day off for our winners here. As we saw, and I already said, Complexity getting that 2-0 win over Wanted secures their playoff position. Wanted will await the winner of what we will see tomorrow is Digital Chaos versus Team Freedom, that Group A match. And then we'll also go over to Group B and watch a full South American fair. It is going to be Infamous versus SG Esports. Me and Blaze will be back to get that coverage going. Same place, same time tomorrow. But awesome day of Dota today. Any closing thoughts before we wrap things up?
No, I mean, NA Dota, best Dota. This has been really awesome to see all this great dynamic activity from these various teams and players. I mean, I got to say that while there were some skeptics of NP Dota's potential when they first announced the roster, I had to say, look at the minds that are being put in this. Like 4 of their players have been coaches at some point for teams like Secret and Evil Geniuses. You got Envy, who is a mastermind in his own way, and I just gotta say, like, it's showing what they're capable of when they design strategies like this, where they suddenly last pick a Naga Siren and they're like, well, all the pieces fit together, and it's just so perfect. I really got to say that I like what MP Dota is bringing to the NA scene, the international scene. Like, this is a team that's going to continue to go places. Very fun to see them, as well as Complexity dominate today, and we'll await them in the playoffs as the first seed out of their groups.
Yeah, as it stands now, though, we still have 8 American teams battling it out for just one spot to qualify and go out to that DAC land in China and represent America. That will continue to unfold over the next coming days. Again, tomorrow we'll be back, same time, same place, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 4 p.m. Eastern as we begin the lower bracket. Freedom versus Digital Chaos, Infamous versus HD Esports. I'm Kyle Guy, that's Blaze. We'll see you next time for more DAC qualifier action.